Let me start off with the share screen thing. So just for legal, say what purposes, the disclaimer is there at the starting, which is stating that all content is for educational purpose and I'm not soliciting any buy or sell. Where is the chat box? Okay, there it is. So which markets do you guys want me to start with? I'm planning to do S&P and followed by gold, Nifty, and then I have some stocks which I think look a bit clear. Anyone having any crude? Okay. Udit, yeah, we will cover crude. But let's Amazon. I haven't looked at Amazon in a while. US dollar. Okay, I'll just start off with the S&P first, and then I'll move on to crude because I've seen crude a lot of guys are saying, and then we'll see something else. By the way, where are you guys from? Like, which part of where are you sitting? Are most of them from India, I suppose? Yes, Sandeep, we will cover Nifty, not Bank Nifty, but Gujarat, Patna. UP, Mumbai, US, Bangalore. Yeah, Swami, I know you are from Bangalore. Vikram, let's do attendees. Cape Town. Vikram, I am from India. Leod Nielsen. Elliot, what do you basically trade since you are in Cape Town? I suppose you are more into Forex or commodity futures, I think. Vikram, I'm from Rohtak, Haryana. UAE. Euro USD. All right, we will cover Euro USD. It looks to be forming a sort of a triangle. S&P and gold. All right. Yeah, so let's start off with the S&P. And if you guys have any query, then once I discuss the basic theme that I have in mind, I will say that if you have any questions, type it in, and then you can type it in, and then we can say see what that is. S&P. So what I think is forming on S&P is a minimum, say 3 legs of correction. I mean, this can be basically taken in both ways. It can be taken as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll change the color first. As a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or it can be just simply seen as a ABC. Both are actually true here, but the impulsive one looks more likely because this lag is quite sharp. Generally, what happens in a sort of a zigzag type of correction is the C lag is sort of weaker. This one is weaker than this one, but here they seem to have, it actually looks stronger than it. than this one. That leads to me to believe that maybe it's possible that this is a third wave instead of a say what a C wave. And if you look at it in that sense, then it's a or one. That's a B or two as a flat. And then what we have here is a one, a two, a three. And this looks like a wave four forming, possibly as a triangle. And if that's a triangle, then that means we will have a sideways movement, which should be later on followed by a downward leg. And if we look at, are you guys clear on this chart up till this point, by the way? Can you type it in with yes and no? All right. All right. So what basically this means is that we have what? A or 1 in the rough analysis, B or 2 should be followed by a C or 3. And what I'm thinking over here is that A or 1 is complete, B or 2 is complete, and C or 3 is still continuing, because this looks like first leg, second leg, third leg. We don't have the fourth leg complete yet. So that leads me to believe, there is a thing. Okay, so that leads me to believe that we will have a sideways movement. Could be a flat or could be a triangle. Triangle will be a little bit, say what, converging type of triangle. And let's have a look at some of the price action levels that we will look for if it's a triangle. First thing we are going to do is draw a Fibonacci retracement for this wave third, because I suppose it's the end. Then 61.8 is where exactly uh, the highest level of resistance might come in, because generally we draw a 50-60 box for resistance zone. Where's that? So that's our little resistance zone over there. So basically this means we are looking for some sort of reversal near this level, right? And as soon as we see a reversal, we may look for shorts, because if it's a wave four, then it will be what? A of the four followed by B down of the four, right? So we can go short for B. That could be our first strategy as per hyper one. If this is a triangle, B will be down, right? And if we are to say that this wave four is very sharp, right? Because this is our one or two. If we are to say that this wave four is very sharp and just completes over here, which generally is not the case, even in that case, wave five will be what, down. So then again, it's a short, right? So both ways, it is a short strategy as per my analysis, of course. And let's have understanding of when this analysis can be incorrect. So generally, I don't want to see the wave four going above 61.8. It doesn't even go to that level either in general. So if it goes above 61.8 and closes with a sharp green bar, like a bar closing at the top, right? Then I will say that possibly this analysis is incorrect. That's our first note. But in either case, right now we are not short, because there is no reversal sign as of now. That's about S&P. Any questions? I'm done with the S&P thing. All right, I'm not seeing any yes or no. That means there are no questions. Yeah. TJ, post wave C, will there be a 5 wave move? Post wave C, I don't get what is post wave C. Will there be a 5 wave move? I don't clearly get you, Anant. Let me see how I can make you a panelist so I can actually talk to you. Do you have a mic, Anant? Do you have a mic connected so that we can actually talk? No. Okay. All right. So post wave C, will there be a 5 wave move? See, generally wave C is the end of the move. So there can't be a Okay, you're saying in the opposite direction. You're saying in the upward direction post wave C there will be a 5 move, right? Okay. So if that's our A, that's our B, that's our C, then yeah, there will be an upside move. Either it will be a retracement till the 50-60 level, or it will be a new impulse forming in the upward direction. But that's too far to talk right now. Right now, I'm only looking at the shorter perspective because from a, let me show a larger time frame chart. This or this. Yeah, so that's our larger time frame chart. Let's go to the weekly. Okay, that's okay. So from the weekly, if you see Anant here, we have a 1-2-1-2, and I think that's our again a 1-2 series is going on over here, and that three is not the, I mean the ultimate three. We have a lot of threes coming in, a lot of upside as per my analysis is remaining, and the minimum downside target that I think for this market is this level of what is this 2258. So I'm thinking that the next leg down should take it somewhere near 2258. And if it goes even further, then we will have this wide support zone over here. Big part, yeah, it's a major correction. Actually, if we just look at the percentage tool, this correction is somewhat 15%. This is around 20, and this is again around 15%. And just look at this last one. It's already at near 20. So that means if we see a leg down and it's not a, if this count is correct, then we will see something around this major correction, last major correction, around 20%. And if it goes down, then we can have a correction which is correcting all these moves. So what will generally happen is the previous corrections, uh, this correction will be more in percentage terms compared to the previous corrections. So 2021 is our limit as for the last correction. I think this was the one, right? This. Okay, so 21.87 is our 21.63 something is our limit as per the last correction. If it goes below that, then it is possible 21.63. So it is over here somewhere near 2300 level, which actually is the market level, by the way. So that would be interesting to see that does it form that next leg down after that triangle or corrective formation that I'm thinking or not. Does that answer your question completely or not? Okay, so it's required victory. I was assuming wave 4 concluded at 60%. Target for wave 5, assuming wave 4 concluded at 60%. Okay, so this wave 4 is, we are not sure if it's complete or not. And if we look in the bigger picture and if this count is correct, Mr. Majumdar, then I think this will again be a corrective formation, possibly as a triangle, because a sharp leg down is either a part of an impulse, or if it's not part of an impulse, then it forms a sideways move. It just doesn't go like, it just doesn't happen like this generally. So what it will happen is that we will have some sort of sideways correction and then the leg up. So we don't have the exact end of wave 4, because if it's a triangle, it will be not this low. And if it's a flat, then it could be like this as well. So we don't have an exact low as of now. Yes, it does. Okay. The target for if I conclude at 60%. Okay, I think it answers your question, Mr. Majumdar. All right, let's move. By the way, let's have a look at Nasdaq. Generally, Nasdaq is the one leading the S&Ps. Whereas we are closer to the end of the correct. Yeah, I think so. See, in Nasdaq, this is sort of clear. I think in Nasdaq we have what the first leg down complete over here, the second over here, and the Next leg down, if we take it as a whole thing as a correction, right, like an ABC thing, then the B can be a triangle, right? So in that case, B or X is completing over here, A or W is over here, and the next leg down is say what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 complete already. So Nasdaq has one possibility suggesting that the whole thing might be complete, and the second possibility is that A or W is here and B or X is over here, and then this is our 1, 2, 3 triangle 4, and then 5. So basically what I'm saying is that we got to have a look at Nasdaq before trading the S&Ps. Generally Nasdaq is the one, at least in these days, is the one leading the S&Ps. And if there's a bottom formed already here, then Nasdaq will be the one which will indicate that. If it takes out this wave B high, what is that? Market. That high is around 65, 66. Then most likely it would mean that we have already found the bottom. So I can mention it as a upside trigger for once. If that is taken, then we will have to assume the possibility that the bottom may have already been formed. Why is not? All right. So what's the next thing we want to look at? Do we go to gold or we go to Indian stocks? Nifty. Can we have crude first? Yeah, can you, crude is actually sort of not clear, but let's discuss it anyways. I have two counts. First one is, all right, so that's my hypo 1, 2. So see, first count is suggesting that we have a 1. Let me start the point of reference. So this count is starting from this point onwards. Up till this point, I'm assuming that we have corrective running flat structure. So just look at the chart from this point onwards. We have sort of a 1 followed by a 2. And then we have a 1, 2, 1, 2 formation completing the wave third over here. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 completing the wave third. Then that means we have a sort of a correction forming over here. Means again the same scenario, or sort of a correction of maybe a triangle or a flat and then a leg down. However, the thing which is not very clear over here is that this does not look like a, I mean, this can be taken as an impulse as well. This is strong, quite a bit strong move to the upside. So that's why I'm sort of waiting on the sideline on crude. That is basically what I trade actually. I trade crude for intraday. I've been trading it for years. Almost every day I check it out and draw multiple scenarios of it. Different time frame wise, have a different time frame. I don't get what you're saying, Vikram. For every script have a different time frame. Oh, you are saying I have multiple charts. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, because sometimes, not sometimes, I almost always go to a lower time frame chart and then check what the lower time frame chart is saying. Is it confirming the higher time frame count? Say for instance, here, see Vikram, here you can count this move as an impulse, right? It looks very strong. But if we go to, this is 4 hour, if we go to 1 hour chart over here, and if we look closely, this is the same move that we were thinking was an impulse. And now if we look at the counts, it generally can be taken as A or 1, B or 2, and then we have what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in truth, we only have 3 waves in it, right? We only have 3 waves in it, but it looks like an impulse on the lower, on the higher time frame. That's why you always gotta check on the lower time frame charts. Okay. And so, yeah. So I have a bit of a trading strategy in it that I want to discuss. It is not very clear. So what I'm basically doing is seeing both sides over here. Although the count suggests that this is 3 waves only, then that would mean we should have an A, B, C, right? But the thing is that if this is an A or W, B, I think the B is continuing, by the way. In any case, we can look for any shorting opportunity below this line. What is this? A trigger line, let's say. Okay. So below this line, we can look for sell triggers. And that is based on my view that this is some sort of triangle formation. Again, this from this point on, I'm assuming this is 3 up, and then this will be A, B, and C, 3 down. And if this is 3 down, then eventually this low will be taken, which is what, 44,319, right? And if that low is taken, then obviously we will look for shorting of this market. And if I'm wrong, then we will have, say, what, one leg up again. In that case, I will say that we can have a long trigger, but not a, I mean, trading trigger, but an alert trigger that this market is going higher than the level of 46, and then we can strategize at that point in time. I think that's about crude. Any questions on crude? Looks like an inverse flag. Yeah, because I have drawn these lines. They might get invalidated anytime, by the way. This, if that's a triangle, then it will be these compressing lines rather than that. On what time frame should you use Elliott Wave for intraday trading? So for intraday, you will have to go long, as low as what, 5 minutes, at least 5 minutes. If you are a beginner, I wouldn't suggest you doing that low of time frames because it won't be clear to you. But I personally go as low as 1 minute to check out the trades. So how do you set targets here in crude? Okay, so yeah, let's look at that. So see, as I said, sell trigger is what, below 44, right? And that is based on our hypothesis that this is a 3 waves up, right? This is a 3 wave up, then this should be followed by 3 legs down as well, right? If this is 3 legs down, then in an ABC down, the most common target we have for wave C is the equivalent of wave A. So what we will have is a measurement of wave A, and the end of wave B we will find. Once this sell trigger is triggered, we will have the end of wave B. Then we can, what is that, Fibonacci tool, right? We can measure the wave A and project from the end of wave B and take the 1:1 as our, let's say, highest target, because it's not required to go at 1:1. A conservative target is 61.8, which will be too low in this case at least. Say it breaks 44. Yeah, I just discussed. Oh, 44. You're talking about a bigger picture, right? I haven't sorted out the bigger time frame counts. They are a bit messy, Vikram, else I would have discussed them surely. On the bigger picture, crude is definitely bearish, at least to me for now. Though I have one interesting thing I just checked a few days back. Can you show an example of any historic intraday trade? Yeah, I have a lot of intraday trades I post in my Slack group. We will have a look at it later. Let's first discuss the what the counts and things. And it's not, doesn't need to be historic. I trade every day, almost every day. It will be like 2-3 days back. I will find a crude trade. All right. So what I saw on this weekly chart, by the way, is that this leg down is what, 77%, and then this leg down again is around 75 or 75 point something. Let's say 76%. And if you look at this last leg, it does seem to have the strength of this last move. I'm not saying it will go down, but it's something we have to keep in mind that from a longer time frame perspective, crude, if it falls in the larger time frame charts, it just gives a straight down move of around 70%, which is a huge fall for this market. I just wanted to discuss that. Just 1 second, I never measured these ones. 34, 30, and we have done so far. Okay, so it has already surpassed these minimal down legs inside the movement. So there's a chance that we might see a big fall or huge fall, something like these along the lines. But obviously, I can't say anything on that, at least now. All right, so crude is done. Any further questions on crude, or else we move on to, I think gold will be the next. Gold. Okay, let's do gold. I don't see any questions over here. So as you know, in the last video, if I checked it out, I was of the view that it's forming a triple zigzag. Just give your insight to how we can trade on 5 minutes. You'll need a lot of practice, hundreds or thousands of hours on any instrument, not just crude, if you want to trade on 5 minute charts. Okay, so as you can see, gold, I had the last view was it was forming a triple zigzag, which will be like what, ABC and X and an ABC. Here, draw it. ABC, X and ABC, and then X and another ABC. So we call it an W and an X and Y and X and Z. So my view was that we should be looking for a bearish sign for your last video, and now I am long gold with a target of 1300. All right. So what I'm thinking of gold is that it does really look like corrective structure to me. At least at this point, it's still too much congestion in this market. So I am of the view that we will have to wait to see some sort of resistance in this marker zone of white resistance, which is by the way 50-60 region of the last swing down, right? So if we see some sort of resistance over here, then it might reverse. If not, then obviously it's going further up. That is what I think, at least as of now. Because even though the counts look good and all, but if it's not followed, then it's not followed. I still have a short trigger placed over what, 1265, but this is more of an alert trigger. I will not be shorting unless I see a clear reversal on gold. And there's a little bit of change in this count. Sorry, Mr. Anand, I can't advise you on your trades. I can just share my analysis. You decide what you want to do. So what I'm saying is that if I look at the counts, then there's a little bit of change that I have done over here. W and X are still the same as the previous count. Y is of course the same, but here I'm taking the another X or the triangle, A, B, C, D, E, right? Basically look at the green counts, H2 or hypo 2. So what I'm saying is W is complete over here, X is done over here, and Y is done over here. And the X, this X is a triangle, right? And if this X is a triangle, then we have the next leg as an a B, and C, still continuing, right? So basically I'm saying is that we are in wave Z, and since wave Z will again have three waves of itself within it, that's our first leg of Z, second leg of Z, and third leg of Z is still continuing. So that's what makes me believe that we may still see a downward movement. Here's the delete thing. Yeah. We may still see a downward movement, and if we take the minimalistic measures, which is what, over A equal to C, then it's already crossed. So 1:1 is crossed, because what we generally look for ABC is that this leg is either equal to first leg, or then we look for 138, and then we look for 161. So 1:1 is already done. So we will look for what, 138, which is exactly near the top of this white resistance zone as well, which was 50-60 region. 50-60 region. And if that is the case, then we can still wait and look for some sort of reversal over here. As I said, I am not short this market yet, and I won't be shorting unless I see some clear sort of reversal on gold. Okay, so yeah, that's about gold. No positions until we see further clarity, and I'm personally looking or some sort of shorting in this market. $10 chart confirmed gold. I haven't seen much of a correlation in. I actually haven't studied much on correlations myself, except for Euro, USD, and dollar index, which which are basically inverse of each other. So I can't comment on that. Yeah, but if you are tracking Euro, then you need to track dollar index as well. Sometimes the dollar index will give the signal before the Euro. Actually, a lot of times it happens like that. Please go like by like to explain the triple zigzag here. Next one real chart. Have you checked out my last video, Kanika? I had discussed the triple zigzag in extreme detail on that one. If not, then please do check that and uh, we can see further charts. All right, so Euro or Indian stocks? Anyone here interested in looking Euro? If even a single person is there, I can. Okay, okay, let's so hurry. Okay, all right. So Euro, let's have a look at a little bit of bigger picture here as well. Weekly. So what I have is WXY, either Y complete here or WXYXZ. Oh, again, that's a triple zigzag in this one as well. The red count, if you see on the top left hand side, I have two counts. H1 is red, H2 is CN or bluish color. So if you look at the red counts, I'm saying that's first leg down, WX, and the Y is still continuing as an WXY in itself, complex. And if you look at the CN count, I'm saying what that the WXY is already done, and this should be our upside move from here on, which it does not look like that at all. Yeah, I mean, this itself looks corrective. This whole thing also looks corrective. And in short, it looks like WXY itself. It definitely looks like X. So I am in the favor of this H2 or CN count, right? So if CN count is going on, then that means we may have one more leg, which is sharp, not sharp, but a huge fall remaining in this market. All right. So in terms of that, I have started my counts from this X. Let's move towards that level on daily chart. Keep in mind, in that count, we have what 3 legs down remaining. What is that? I'm taking that as a W or A, X or B, Y or C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It can also be seen as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the problem with that was this does not look impulsive to me at all. So that's why I have taken it as sort of a corrective pattern. But leaving that, let's have a look at the current count. X, A, B, C. Let me remove this thing. A, B, and C over there. W and then A, B, C, D, and E, and then it's like up. All right, yeah. So in this one, this congestion, this particular price congestion looks like a sort of a triangle, right? And the thing with triangle is sort of quite simple. If you think there's a triangle over here, then you place a long trigger above it and short trigger below it. What basically happens is there are sort of two sort of formations in a triangle. Let's look at this one itself. This could have been a triangle like this: A, B, C, D, and E. That's our first formation. In that case, we will look for a short side, right? And the second formation could be, this is just the first leg of the triangle, so first leg of the correction, W, and the second leg itself is a triangle. So that will be our A, that will be B, C, and D, and E. And that would mean after this E, we will go long. So even if you don't understand all of this, the simple thing that I like to point out here is above this C is a long trigger and below this D is our short trigger. A better short trigger would be below this, by the way, a confirmatory short. This will be a bit risky if you really go short over here, because what can happen is this can still be continuing like this and then go down. So in that case, you will have to place your stops a little bit higher. Where's that thing? Yeah, so you will have to place your stops above this. But from a trading perspective, I think this market is what long above what this is 1.1462 and short below 1.13427. If the short is triggered first, then this long trigger line becomes our stop loss. And if the long is triggered first, then this short trigger line becomes our stop loss. Simple enough, I guess. What is? I guess that's simple enough. Any questions on Euro USD, or we move on to something else? I think the Indian stocks would be next. I think the strategy is very simple on that one. All right, lad. Okay, what do I have on that? It doesn't even trade natural gas here, by the way. Yes or no? Anyone? Do you use any other indicators like volume or RSI? No, I generally have RSI and MACD on the bottom of my charts, but I actually never look at them. Except, of course, if I'm putting on a huge position and that's also swing, only then I look at them. Otherwise, I find that they are mostly, say what, contradicting even a good analysis. And I've seen that price action generally does what it has to do, regardless of what RSI is saying. So I almost avoid them in my 95% of the trades. I avoid looking at them. Sometimes I do look at them. Okay. So I think nobody trades natural gas. So I'll move on to Indian stocks. How many of you guys trade the NSE? NSE stocks, I mean. Nifty. Okay, we'll look at Nifty. Where is Nifty? Vikram. Where are you from, Vikram, by the way? Nifty, we have Patna. Okay. Where are you from, Mr. Hari? I guess that's. Oh, you're from USA. Are any of IT professionals in this chat room, uh, or most of them are just traders? Okay, so you're an IT professional. How many of you guys are full-time traders, by the way? Okay, Kanika. Is this a yes for IT profession or full-time trading? I don't get it. I put two questions at the same time. Can you describe how you use analyze stock from first time for the full-time trading? That's great. So can you describe how you analyze the stock from first time? Okay, Udit, I can't discuss that in too much detail. That would be beyond the scope of this discussion. But I'll give you just a little bit of hint. First, whatever stock you are analyzing, you got to look at the index, which is Nifty in this case, if you are in India. And after you have looked at, let me write it down. After you have looked at the major index of that country, you look at the sectoral index. So, for instance, if you are looking at Tech Mahindra, which is an auto company, sorry, tech company, then you will look at Nifty IT. And after you have looked at IT index, then you look at the stock. By the time you reach the stock, you would have gotten your answer by yourself. Does that clarify your doubt to the or not? Mm, I would have gone to an actual chart, but that will take too much time. All right. So as you can see, Nifty is nothing much to explain. The chart is sort of clear over here. I did catch this leg down, but the thing is that right now it's sort of messing around. The thing is that this leg down, I checked this on Nifty as well. I checked it on where is that? Yeah, SGX Nifty, and both instances I find that this is corrective. Now that creates a problem in itself. If this is corrective, then that means that this leg down, this leg up from what is this level of 10, 14. is going to be a correction in the upward direction. And if that's a correction in the upward direction, then that suggests that even if this leg continues to the upside, we should see a leg which should go below this low, or at least go low. If not below this low, then at least form a big retracement. So on weekly count, I'm not sure if I've done the weekly counts on this chart. I have a lot of charts of Nifty, 7 or 8, something. I will have to check that. So I'll just check squeezing this one till where I've done 3, 4, 4 question A, B. That's not the chart, I suppose. 4 done over here, A, B, C, D. Because what I've done in the recent count is I've put the 4 over here, right? And that's an impulse. Yeah, that's my last update for this count. Previously, I was thinking this is an A, this is a B, this is a C. However, now I'm thinking that this is a 3 down and then say what, a triangle, 3 down, 3 up, and then 3 down, 3 up, 3 down. So that's a wave 4 over here as a triangle. And then this is our last leg up for wave 5. And then if that's the wave 5, then obviously that means we should have an A, B, and C. So that's why I'm also having a view to only take short sides on Nifty. Possibly count on Nifty, please. I can squeeze in a little bit more. Let's check daily, by the way. I think that's not the chart which I have the actual count on Nifty. That's the upside on this 1 hour chart of Nifty. Maximum upside. Yeah, that we can check on this chart. That's upside of this ongoing wave P. Okay. So the minimalistic targets we have is what would be downside target post breakdown in wave C. Yeah, that we should look at first. That's an A with 3, 4, 5. Yeah, Mr. Ant, the wave C is always like the first thing we take is equal to A, right? So for taking it equal to A, we will have to figure out the end of B, which is not clear yet. So I can't comment on that, but we will see if we can form some sort of rough hypothesis on it. And Anant, what Vikram? Yeah, Vikram was asking wave B high. Let's look at that. So minimum we will look for is the 50-60, right? Which I think, yeah, it is already touched. So that's the minimum we would expect, but I don't think this market will be stopping right there. I think it will go higher. Next level we have is 78.6, but honestly, if it's just going higher, then it can go to even 90. But still, we'll just put a line at 78.6. The next thing we will check is the structure of this move. Is the drawing thing. Structure of this move, and looking at that, we may as well be able to check the high of this last leg up. Long-term wave count of Nifty. Yeah, Sandeep, as I already said, I don't know which chart has it, and better focus on the current count. I'll probably make a video of the long-term count if so many people are interested in it, but later, right? So yeah, so what I'm thinking is that this is a. Let me see first what this count is saying. Corrected down. All right, so this is the proper count that I have for this last leg. What I'm thinking is that the first leg down is complete over here, A or 1, and obviously this is the B or 2, and let's look at the structure of this B or 2 is what, A, and then A, B, C for B, and then up for C. So theoretically speaking, the first leg up is complete, corrected retracement for flat is complete. Next leg up may have completed over here, and if not, then it can just go up. So I would say that generally it does complete over here. Let's look at the 1:1 for this thing. Is that okay? That's the measure of A, and projecting it from the start of C, we have the 1:1 already completely touched out, right? And that basically means that we still wait for a clear reversal. We don't have any clarity on this one because as far as I'm concerned, generally the structure should complete over here itself, right? And if it's not complete, then it can be just a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then it can just keep going up. So from my perspective, as of now don't have a count for it. Like what's the exact, is this be complete over here or still continuing? But from a trading perspective, what we can do is, or what I'll do right now is we'll just place a trigger over here, and short selling trigger is already placed below 10538, or short trigger, not selling trigger. So I'll just label it as possible longs. And this is what our possible shorts. So what I'm basically saying is that we just wait and watch. As soon as one of these triggers is taken out, possibly more market information would have come to us, like the structure, and then we may look for trading this market accordingly. Also, this corrective wave is it possible to be 12, 2, 3, 4, 5 from here? Is it possible for it to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Yeah, I have already labeled as A or 1, B or 2. We always consider every single possibility, but we always stay conservative while we are trading. Okay, that answers your question, Vikram, I guess. Any more questions on Nifty? As I just said, the trading strategy would be to wait and watch, placing triggers on both upside and downside, and seeing what market information becomes clear to us once we are near that. Any last on 5-minute chart? 5-minute chart. Let me see. Okay, on the 5-minute chart, it looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 complete, and this looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there is no clarity, at least as of now. Actually, it does not look like a 5, by the way. It looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 A, B, C, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like a correction, right? But that's just rough analysis. Going to such lower time frames will require more time, right? We don't have that many minutes on this one. Any more last trade on? Oh, last trade you were asking. Upcoming general election 2019. I don't look at news, and neither do I consider it in my trading. Okay, Reliance, Infi, TJ. Yeah, let's go to stocks because we have limited time over here. Let's go to stocks. Let me see which ones are clear. List. Okay, Tech Mahindra is the one we will look at first. All right, so there is Tech Mahindra. What I think is that it is forming a sort of congestion pattern. There are two possible counts on it. I just joined. Did you already cover SPX? Sami, yes, Sami, I have already covered SPX. We may look at it later if we get more time, but this is almost the end of the webinar. So Tech Mahindra is what, 1 up, 2 down, and yeah, I will provide a upload for this discussion possibly on YouTube, so you can check that. That would be better. So if we have a 1, a 2, and I think the 3 is complete over here, and this 4. Now that here's a bit of confusion on this Tech Mahindra chart. This 4 could just be an A, B, C, D, and a congestion for E, completing the 4th, and then a leg up, right? This is our first possibility, and the second is that wave 5 may have already completed. Just a sec, not here but here, because this is the high. Wave 5 may have already completed, and this is what, A down, B up, and C down. So here both the scenarios are possible, upside and downside. So I've done the same thing as I've done in Nifty. I've placed that red trigger over here, and for the upside, and a short trigger over here at 643 for the downside. As soon as we see a price below these or above this level, we can strategize for longs or shorts. If this is a wave 4, Then above this trigger level, we will go long for this wave 5. However, if this is a wave 5 not here but already completed over here, then we will look for A, congestion over B, right? And a simple leg down for C. So simple A, B, C. So that would be our view on trading Tech Mahindra again. So please make a video on weekly time frame on Nifty. All right, Vikram, I'll see about that, but not right now. Okay, after Tech Mahindra, I have clarity in Yes Bank, HCL Tech, Tata Steel, Tata Steel. By the way, how many of you guys trade the NSE stocks? Okay. Anyone else other than one? It's just one name. I trade US stocks. Sorry. Okay. Yes Bank too, if possible. Yeah, I will check Vikram. Yes Bank. All right. Let's look at Yes Bank. Yes Bank. All right. So Yes Bank has just broken out of this channel, of this bearish channel, this red channel, if you can see clearly. And what it looks to me is that it's still in some sort of, say what, corrective pattern. It looks like three legs up for A, and this looks like an A, B, C, a D, and maybe an E. So again, the strategy on Yes Bank is the same as we discussed in the last two, three things. We just place say what, a sell trigger below this line and a buy trigger above this line. And if this count is correct, just keep in mind that counts keep changing. Counts are dynamic, just like anything else, because the market itself is dynamic. Market data just can make the counts do random things. So the view is just simple enough, right? Uh, this is not a 1-2-1-2, which generally would have been the case in an impulse. So this up leg would be generally equivalent to this. And by the way, I've written A, B, C, but it should more properly be labeled as a W, X, and a Y, but that's just being technically correct. In either case, you know that the Y leg will be what? The Y leg will be something like this. If this is the correct count, then we will have something like this. So in that case, we will measure this W, right, and project it from here. Okay, so that will be 1:1 equivalency, and yeah, trigger for upside will be above this line, which is 187. Stop losses I will look for below 175. So that's Yes Bank. How do join your Slack group? Yeah, Hadi, the Slack group is limited to only my students, those who either take one-to-one classes or 6-month program. Only they can stay in the group. Could you cover Bitcoin quickly if you haven't? Yes, Sami, I should look at Bitcoin now. Let me see chart. But please note, I haven't done any analysis of Bitcoin since a long time, so we may not have that clear of a view. Right. BTC, TC USD LT. Okay. Yes, Bank obviously to have completed a descending triangle in a daily time frame. I've removed it now. Okay, let's have a look at BTC and then we can maybe go back to Yes Bank. How do I join your one-on-one sessions? Yes, Ami, please check the website. There are further details. Like if you are clear on the Elliott Wave basic concepts, then you can look to join the classes and all that. There is actually no charges for the Slack group. It is only allowed for the students who have booked out classes with me. Otherwise, no one else is allowed to join the Slack group. ABC. Okay, let's look at BTC first. Okay, so it did form a very clear down move. W, where's the X? Okay, I recall the last video I made on Bitcoin. It was over here, somewhere over here. And my view was that this was a triangle, and if not a triangle, then sorry, yeah, if this was a triangle completing the whole structure, like this whole thing was a triangle, and if that was the case, we should go long above this line. This was our long trigger, and if not, then my view was that if it goes below this line, this is what a W triangle X, and then a Y down. Something like that was my view. I can clearly recall both long and short sides were resisted with some trigger lines. So obviously the sell side has been triggered, the long side was never triggered, and it did fall down. So what we do look for is now equality of some sort. And the thing is that this Bitcoin is extremely sharp moving, or I mean, it's moving so fast that I have to check everything on the log scale. If you really check things on log scale, the 1:1, if we take this as a W, this as a X, and this as a Y, the 1:1 is like huge down move. Let me show what I mean. If I look at this just W and then this X, then you'll see that it's not even 23%. This red line, we just keep going down. 38 is like 1551, and we can't just think of 1:1 because 1:1 is like below zero, right? Yeah, this is below zero. 1:1 is like minus 10,913. So the general equalities that we use are of no use over here. So what do we do in that scenario? Okay, so next thing we can do is we can look at some sort of reversal patterns. Let me check it over our chart. Maybe we have something clear. And my recommended region for Bitcoin was what, 5,000 to 3,000, this box white zone. I never checked it. It exactly seems to have touched the low of this white zones, which is at 3,124. So that did play out very well. Anyways, let's look at the 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so what I think is this looks like a possible impulse complete over here. Please keep in mind that more analysis will need to be done on this chart, but roughly speaking, if this was the end, if this was some sort of end and we start from there on, okay, I think this will be our point of reference. From there on, we will have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And if that's the case, then we will have a retracement back to the upside, right? And this retracement should be around 50-60 of the last leg down. So we will just check that quickly. All right, so there's our 50-60 region. So what I think over here is that we need to see some sort of move up till this region, at least an A, a B, and a C. And from what I can see on this chart over here, it looks like a wave is already complete. Here one is already complete. This looks like a B or two. At least to me, it looks like the first leg down is here. Second is here, and maybe a triangle. If not a triangle, then it will be like sort of a flat. So I will say this is our A, B, triangle or flat, and then a next leg up for C. So yeah, I think in BTC we may see some upside, and that upside will be, we can also do one more thing by the way. We can check the 1:1. Although we don't have the end of wave B, we can assume it to be somewhere near this low. All right, so that will give us 4681 as our target one. Just keep in mind this analysis is rough. Generally, it will take me more time to check out a chart like this, but so that's our rough analysis for Bitcoin, suggesting that we may have an up move, which can see a high of 4678, and if the high continues, then the levels of 5216 or this white resistance zone can be seen. Stop loss in either case will be below the low of wave B, and keep in mind that wave B is still forming, and if it's still forming, then if it's a flat, then one leg down might still be remaining. In either case, if you go long, the say what technical stop will be below this level of 3135. But obviously, once this market forms the wave below, we will move it below the wave below. So yeah, I would say possible one leg up in BTC. Okay, I guess I'm about done, and we have already covered almost everything. Raghunathan, sorry man, I'm not covering Bank Nifty. Hmm. It's mostly like the Nifty chart itself. You can put both aside and clearly check out the counts on that. So point of reference in Nifty. Vikram, as we just discussed, the last low, which was around, say what? Let me see. Which was around 9986 was our point of reference in Nifty. Yeah, and if somebody's interested, we can check out one of my few trades on intraday chart. I guess somebody was asking. I think two, 3 people were asking. I think. Please analyze one stock for first time for Elliott Wave. Oh, that can take a lot of time. That won't be possible in this discussion. Okay, so let's have a look at the group thing. Where is crude oil? Let me see which one was a trade. Expecting up move for waves here. Why? For simple market book profits and shorts. Added shorts will move down. Okay, so that's our trade. That's my trade. One of the trades that I conducted made on 21st of December. 15-minute chart. Okay, so what I'm thinking is that that's an A up, ABC for WXY for B down, ABC. All right. So what I'm thinking over here is an A up, B down, C up. That's a sort of a flat. More specifically, that's an expanded flat because wave B is going below the starting point of wave A. Right. So that was my view of this chart. Let's see how I traded it. All right. So I'm assuming there's some sort of triangle over here. Okay. Yeah. A, B, C, D, E. So I must have gotten short near the break of this trend line or near the end of this triangle. By the way, this was extremely clear chart. Generally, triangles won't be that clear. Okay, I think that's the trade that's the point I entered short. Let me see. I did shorts for move down after what looks to be a triangle structure. Yeah. So we have what A, a B, a C, a D, and E. Okay, so the E may have one leg up still remaining, but I have already entered shorts and stop loss is what wave D high. Simple enough. Let's look at what after. All right, so after that it fell down. Fell down, and I was supposing that it will give a pullback and then one more leg down, right? That was my initial view. But I guess I booked out profits over here. Booked profits on all shorts as the market went down as expected after a triangle. Yeah, so I booked out the profits. I think the entry was somewhere over here and profit booking somewhere over here. So yeah, I generally look to get in and get out as quick as I can. What is that? 46, 45 something. That was the trade. And yeah, one more thing. This analysis was relegated later on. Although it played out in the short term, this was really a triangle. This was really a leg down triangle and the leg down. But the whole thing that I was thinking like A or W up, B or X, Y down, and then C or Y up, it never played out like that. It completely changed after that. So that's the nature of the markets. If you see, it did go to the low of the Y, and then I was expecting an up move, right? But it never played that up move, as you will see in the next chart. Still expecting that up move. It did go up a little bit, but where's that? Okay, maybe I missed some. Where's the price level? Is at 45.95. Let me look at the exact chart right now. WTI crude 45.95. All right, so as you see, this is the part which I actually traded. This was what I was saying was the A or W. This was what I was saying as the B or X, right? I entered the shorts over here, exited somewhere over here. Not exactly sure where I exited. I mean, this a little bit of move I covered. And then I was expecting an up move, but as you see on the real chart, the up move never transpired. There was no up move. So just keep in mind the analysis looked really well and it did give me profit as well, but it can always change, as you just saw. And had I been trading this up move, which I was expecting as per my count, then I may have either gotten out at break even or in minor losses, because after all, my stop loss would have been this low. Yes, any trade on Nifty? I don't think I did trade Nifty much in the last month. Thank you for insights. You're welcome, Sami. How do you take an idea of the time in which a particular wave might be complete? So the previous structure will give you a rough idea. I mean, I have no particular theory on time, but if this was really a WXY, let me delete this thing. Like you can take up the time of this wave and get a rough idea of the next wave up. Nothing in specific, just a rough idea. And since most of my trades are intraday, I will generally just exit near the end of the session if I'm not seeing much up move or move in my direction anyways. Idea of time in which a particular wave might be completed. I guess that answers your question, Kanika. I just take a rough view from the last waves. Nothing in specific I do on time. All right. Any more questions or I will conclude this? And before concluding, if any of you are interested in, where's that, learning more on Elliott waves, if you are not clear on the basics, then you can check out my website. And there's a video course if you are interested in. It's 4 or something content on it. And I'll be adding some trade examples in it in the coming days. So you can check it out. And if you are interested in further queries and everything, I have one-to-one classes for which you can find the details over here. And yeah, 6-month patches are also starting. That will be one-to-one classes in person per weekend or twice a weekend. So if anyone is interested in complete training on Elliott Wave, then contact me on Skype. Check out the basic details on this page and then contact me on Skype basically. So those are the only two things that I do offer. I'm only in education sector. I don't sell analysis or anything. And the group itself is also only for students. So there's nothing else to offer. Okay. You're welcome, Raghu. All right, guys. Welcome, live. All right, so I'll look to upload this one on YouTube. And if anyone is interested in checking out again, they can check it out there. Welcome, Charlie. All right, guys, I'll close out this session. Where's the end meeting thing? Have a great coming new year, by the way. And bye, Evan. Bye, everyone. Bye, Kevin.